So the first reactions to Black Widow are online, and they tell a pretty mixed picture. It seems that this movie isn't going to blow anybody away, but it likely isn't going to make anybody walk away saying this is the best Marvel film that they've ever seen. Let's check out some of these reviews. So it goes without saying, spoilers, even though I don't think that there was anything too spoilery in these partial reviews that I'm going to go over. But if you don't want to know anything, take that for what it is. So one thing that a lot of people were talking about is this movie might shortchange Black Widow for her successor, who's obviously that character who's supposed to be her sister. There's no pictures of her on this article. But as they say in here on the Screen Rant review, Black Widow review, new character overshadows Nat's long-awaited solo film. Black Widow is filled with fantastic action-packed sequences, fun comedic beats, and themes of family, even while it shortchanges Natasha herself. So, Black Widow finally gets a solo movie. She should have got one a long time ago. She should have had a movie before Captain Marvel, if you want to be honest. But it is what it is. And one of the theories that people have been pushing is that new character who's, I think, like I said, I hear that's her sister. I don't know if that's just like they became, best friend sister type thing in the Red Room or what. They don't say, but it looks like she's getting pushed aside a little bit to prop up that new character who I guarantee you is going to pop up in Phase 4 at some point, and she's going to take the mantle of Black Widow, and it kind of sounds like that's the case after reading several of these reviews. So among a lot of the first opinions for this movie, out of these reviews, we have critic scores up. As of right now, over on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at an 89%. And that means, as they say here, 7.10 out of 10, which really isn't that bad of a score. Now, I don't want to give critics too much credit here because usually what they like means the opposite. So this could be a terrible movie, but a lot of the reviews for the movie say it's fun, but it's like I've seen this so many times. It's not a terrible movie, but it's not groundbreaking. With these comic book movies, eventually there needs to be something that's groundbreaking. Because if they just keep going with the flow and releasing average movie after average movie, eventually people are just going to stop watching these, which is kind of already happened. A lot of people are sick of superhero movies, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon, especially now that you're releasing all of these B characters that nobody really knows about. But to be fair, who really knew who Guardians of the Galaxy were before those movies came out, right? So let's take a look at what Bounding into Comics captured here. I'd like to see what people are saying, and I'm sure some of you might want to know as well. So we have 3 out of 4 here from the New York Post saying that it's kind of like a rogue James Bond movie. We've got one here from Justin Change at the LA Times. Gives the movie a rotten score. He writes, like the young Natasha herself, Black Widow feels as though it's been programmed into submission and scarcely allowed to live and breathe before it's suddenly over. US Weekly gives the film a 2.5 out of 4. She writes, the stakes are non-existent no matter how many times a bad guy or girl aims a gun at our beloved heroine. We know that she has a specific endgame. USA Today gives the movie a 3 out of 4. He writes, Black Widow is a strong solo superhero effort that feels both timely and also way too late. IndieWire gives the film a B. He writes, at its best, Black Widow is a welcome break from the overwrought transmedia machine that dictates Disney's biggest franchise bets and almost invites you to forget what's at stake. The AV Club gives the film a B-. Casting is maybe the primary strength of this mega franchise, and the film's familiar bantering dynamic gets as strong assists from new hires. And then there's one from Insider. gives the film a B-, writing Black Widow is a decent action vehicle and spy thriller, even if it feels a bit paint by numbers and years late to the screen. Comicbook.com gives it a 4.5. While it's hard not to dwell on the fact that Black Widow should have been made a decade ago, the new movie still manages to be a well-placed addition to the franchise and a perfect send-off for Natasha Romanoff. Let's go over these last ones here from The Guardian. He writes, for fans of Black Widow and everyone else, this episode is great fun, and Harbor could well ascend to spin-off greatness of his own. Slant Magazine gives it a 1.5 out of 4. Boiled down to its essence, this narrative isn't terribly hard to follow, but in execution, the film moves so haphazardly as to be bewildering. Slash Film gives it a 6 out of 10, writing that Black Widow falls victim to big bombast characteristic of the studio. The result is a disappointing solo movie that ends up burying Natasha Romanoff once again. So 70 Metascore with 25 positive ratings, 4 mixed, and 1 negative review. That's for Metacritic, and as you can see down here, it's about the same, a little bit lower, but most of the reviews are positive. IGN giving it a 70 out of 100, and that seems to be the case here, that it's a fun movie. It's not really breaking any barriers down, which I don't really want it to. But at the same time, it's not really breaking new ground, which I got to be honest, Marvel's not really doing with anything. Unless it's identity politics, then that's really the big draw for a lot of these movies now. Is they're thinking, well, we've done all the superhero stuff. Let's have our heroes be activists now. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to check it out. I'll probably go to the theaters and see it, and I'll let you know what I think, but doesn't sound like this movie is going to blow anybody's minds away. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Also, if you'll please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit the notification bell. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment, make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.